Can you see me?
Yeah.
So we're at the shop today. Work was kind enough to let me use the inside, so I didn't have to stand out in the cold to do this. We are going to fix the install on the heater, and then we're going to try and fix the leaking airbags, at least find where the leak is. And it had a new problem creep up. Let me show you that one. So this piece of glass is the window from the front of the camperette. It fell out on the way here. I'm glad it didn't fall out and slide down through there and land on the highway, so I was able to pull over and rescue it. It just fell forward and was leaning up against the truck, so that's going to be fun too. The retainer has broken off and is gone. I'm going to have to clean it all up, put some caulking in there, and then, I don't know, some silver tape for the time being. I'll get it fixed. What I'm doing here is I'm going to be disassembling this. I'm going to take these 4 bolts out. That holds the heater on in the inside. That's why Jacob's here. He's here to hold the other side and then to hold the heater when I pull it out, just so that things don't fly everywhere. And then I got to take this plate off, make the hole bigger inside, and get it a little bit safer for me. I still think it's safe enough to run all the time, but I just have uneasy feelings, so I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger, and away we go. So I got my son here with me today. Say hi, Jacob. He's going to be in charge of holding the heater so it doesn't fall on the floor when I disconnect it, and then we will just set it down, and then he'll just hold the bolts for me so I can get off, because I can't reach. Actually, I've got arms like a gorilla. I probably could reach both sides at once, but it's a little easier with 2 hands. So let's get started. The rubber was holding it on pretty good. Okay. All right. That's all off. Get this out of the way. Now what I'm going to do is cut this out bigger, because all I have is this little 1.5 inch hole, and there's no charring. Here, I'll bring you up closer. You can see there's no charring or anything, and we've had this thing running for hours at a time, but I'm just not comfortable. So I am absolutely going to have to get this line out of here so I can cut this even bigger. So I'm going to pause the video while I fight with this. Nobody needs to see me fight and yell. So I had a viewer on a different video tell me to put a can around the exhaust on the inside, and it would act as a buffer. But if I do that, it's because of how close they are together, it's going to block the fuel line and everything, and it'll come way out the side. You can see that discolored here, that's where the plate sits. So I'm not going to do that, but what I'm going to do is cut this out about there. That's going to, and then the hose, the exhaust line is only going to be taking up about that much room, so it's going to give me a good inch around it. And then I'm going to line that hole with silver tape, so that'll reflect the heat back. And I also have exhaust tape that's going to go over this. You see the discoloration is is here, starts here and comes down to about here. That's where all the heat is. So I'm going to line this thing with that stuff. So first, I'm going to mark out where I'm going to put this. Basically, so that this is centered with this hole over here. And I think that'll be fine. There. So that'll give me, like, the fuel line's gonna come in here, and I'll probably wrap silver tape around the fuel line too, just for my own peace of mind. I'm not going to use the can because it's not going to give me enough room, because it's probably way too big of a can. But that'll give us lots of room around that. Okay, so now I'm going to line the hole all the way up in and around, all the way out here. I'll go all the way around it with silver 3M duct tape. This stuff's amazing. It's very reflective, sticks to everything, and it's a pain in the butt to work with. And I've made a mess, and that's what I'm doing now. Okay, I've got it all lined. If I was to go crazy, I could probably put the can in there. Maybe not. I'm not going to worry about the can. So I've got it all lined now. I'm going to put a little bit of that tape around this hose where it comes through, just for peace of mind. It'll kind of, in my thoughts, keep the heat away from there as well, because the exhaust goes right here. The fuel line runs in close by. So I'm thinking just to keep a little bit of extra heat off the line. That is what I'm going to do. I'm sure I do not need to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway, just for peace of mind. Okay, that's that. So I'm going to take the plate here. Is a little bit of a sharp edge where the fuel line goes through. I didn't notice that when we did the install last time. So I'm just going to go get a file, and I'm just going to file this right out completely. It'll just be rounded. So we don't need to watch that, though. I'll just go do it. Okay. Got that ready to go. Just got to figure out which way it goes. Pretty sure it went this way. This way. This way? It went that way. We'll figure out in a minute. Jacob, can you go inside and push this one out, this bottom bolt? Push it through. Like right there, just push it, yeah. Can you now put the plate back up? Put the plate back up and push all the bolts in. You gotta get in there and do it. Oh, I take the plate to the wall. Okay, now I can see. Here's the hole where the. Okay, put the bolts through. They're on the floor. I'm just going to put. Hang on, I'm just checking to see the holes here. There we go. Goes on this way. Right like that. Okay. Which one are you doing? The bottom one? There you go. Okay, perfect. I'll go up. Okay, just push. Perfect. Okay, what about the other top one? Oh, that one came right through. Okay, there was no tape there. Perfect. I'm gonna put this back on.
You still need me in there?
Yeah, you need to hold the bolts. top at the back, push it through. Okay, and then I'm just gonna put the nut on there to hold it. You can see here the exhaust goes through here, and we have cut a nice big hole through there, so I'm quite happy with that. The fuel line now goes through here and out that hole right there at the back, and the air line goes through here, the air intake. So that's given us plenty of room. This is all now hollow and lined with the silver tape, which is going to reflect a lot of the heat. And I also have something really cool to put on the exhaust line here. I'm not going to do that until the heater is mounted back inside. So we're going to do that right now. Wait at me. The fuel line popped out, hit me in the face, and now I'm covered in diesel. Okay, go back to the hole. Okay, fuel line back in place. You'll notice I didn't put any clamps on here. The clamps they give you are garbage. They don't even hold anything tight. They don't even tighten anything on there. So I opted to not put them on there. I tested it beforehand. There's no leak. This is very tight on here. So I'm not too worried about not having clamps on there. I also don't have a clamp on the exhaust. You've got this rubber gasket here, so even if there is a little bit of gas coming off of here, it holds so tight there's nothing's going to be coming in. So we're all good there. I'm going to be trimming all this, but okay, so for now we're going to set this back into place. I'm going to bring the air intake in because that's a little bit trickier to put on, and then we got to try and feed these bolts back in, which actually went a lot easier the first time than I expected. So that just means that this time it's not going to work at all. So let me get the air intake. So air intake comes in right here, which I'm guessing I'm not going to have an easy time putting this in. So what we need to do is get that lined up, and wow, that might actually go as planned. Push this through a bit so I'm not, I'm fighting with the fuel line. There. This just needs to slip on. There we go. Pull the fuel line through. No, it came out. I'll have to do it from the outside. Let's give it a grief with the fuel line. Put the fuel line through. Okay. The heater is giving me a little bit of grief putting the line back on, but it won't be too hard to just feed that back in there and on when I'm ready for it. Now I just got to try and get the bolts back in for the heater, which is going to be the hard part. Good, one in. Now, can you tip it back a little bit so you can see the top one on the back side on this end? Okay, exhaust line will push back in, we're good. Put the air intake line back in. Yes, you're done in there, thank you. Oh yeah, this is going to give me grief because of the bolt. There we go. Everything's back in. This one we're going to do in a little bit. We'll put the cover back on. I love my little makeshift cover. Put the line back in. Make sure I don't put a screw through it. There we go. Holes all line up. And that's pretty much it for putting that back in. There we go. That's it for that for now. This is the secret stuff I got for the exhaust line. Not a secret. This is exhaust wrap. It's titanium exhaust wrap. What you do with it, if I can make it work, I may or may not use it here. I may save it and use it for a later date, but what it does is it wraps around the exhaust pipe and it holds the heat in. So it keeps the heat in the exhaust line where it should be. I'm hoping I can wrap it this way, but I'm not sure I can, because if I have to wrap it around this way, it's going to be kind of a pain in the butt. So I'm deciding right now whether or not this is going to work. Okay, so I can already tell this is not going to work. The only thing I can do is to wrap it this way around, and I just don't think I'm going to bother with that. This is going to be out in the winter, in the cold. This, I'm not too worried about getting too hot. I'm going to save this for a different application down the road that is going to be coming up within the next year. So all I have left to do now is just put the exhaust line back in. And there we go, that's it. My fixing of my install to make it where I feel a little bit more comfortable. I'm going to be able to leave this thing on low all night long. It's not going to bother me at all anymore. There we go. I should have done that in the first place. Just create a bigger pocket around it. Pretty much all up in here, all of that is open. So now there'll be a place for the heat to go. It'll escape better. It'll be better, feel better for me anyway. That's it. Today's repairs are done. I want to thank Jacob for the help. Very much appreciated, buddy. I dragged him out of the bed early this morning so we could come and do these repairs. Everything's done. Like I've said before, anything that you can fix yourself, you should fix it yourself. Save yourself some money.